The moment Judge Hill entered the courtroom, the world seemed to pause. Christine sat stiff-backed at the plaintiff's table, eyes locked on a thick folder of sealed documents that seemed heavy enough to crush her. Across the aisle, Robyn slouched low in her chair, lips pressed tight as if holding back a scream, while Kody shifted restlessly, arms crossed like a man already bracing for an inevitable collapse. The clicking of cameras ceased. The reporters fell silent. The air itself felt electric, too heavy to breathe. This was not a simple family dispute. This was about Garrison. A son, a brother, a man who had lived a quiet life on the surface, but, as Christine was about to prove, had carried secrets that could tear the entire Brown legacy apart. What Christine knew, what she was ready to reveal, would scorch the room. The clerk read the charges aloud. Brown vs. Brown, posthumous estate, hidden financial misconduct. Even the words seemed to crack the ceiling above. Janelle leaned forward, eyes blazing like fire, while Mary sat small in the second row, head bowed as if she wished to vanish into the bench beneath her. Robyn's lip quivered before she steeled herself again, Kody's hand gripping the chair like it was the only thing keeping him upright. Christine rose, her heels echoing like gunfire on the polished wood floor. "Your Honor," she began, her voice steady but charged with grief, "we are here today not just for justice, but for the truth. The truth of my son, Garrison. A truth I didn't want to face, but one I must expose." A sharp inhale broke the silence. "Robyn," her gasp rattled the walls. Kody's shoulders tensed. Christine slid the manila folder across the evidence table. Inside are bank statements, letters, photographs. Proof that Garrison was being manipulated financially. Proof of a second bank account, one funded every month by someone in this very room. The courtroom erupted with whispers. All eyes darted to Robyn, who sat pale as parchment. Kody's face froze, but his clenched fist told another story. Judge Hill narrowed her gaze. "You're alleging a secret financial conduit inside this family?" "Yes," Christine replied, her voice breaking but unyielding. And it doesn't end there. The binders were opened. Page by page, Garrison's hidden life came into focus. $10,000 in anonymous deposits, journal entries describing paranoia, late-night calls from blocked numbers. His words were haunting. "Sometimes I feel like she's watching me. Other times like she's guarding me." When the first covert audio recording was played, Garrison's trembling voice describing being pressured to sign documents, Robyn's head snapped up. "That's not true," she cried, her mask shattering. Christine's fury finally erupted. "You said you hadn't seen him for months." That was a lie. The judge pounded the gavel, but the dam had already burst. Then came the text messages. Hundreds exchanged with a woman named Samantha. Some read like romance, others like threats. "Do what she says. If you disappear, we all burn." Janelle wept silently. Mary whispered, "You told me you hadn't seen him in a year." While Robyn stammered excuses no one believed. And then the photo. Garrison leaning into a car window. In the driver's seat, Robyn. The room gasped as though struck by lightning. Christine's voice, low and sharp, cut through the storm. "I wanted peace. I wanted to bury my son quietly. But I could not. Not when the truth was screaming at me. And Kody?" She turned, locking eyes with him. "You knew? You looked the other way." Kody's voice was hollow. "That's not true." "Then prove it," Christine spat. "Take the stand." The judge ordered it. And when Kody swore his oath, the courtroom held its breath. Christine never blinked, never looked away. And as Kody admitted to receiving an anonymous email, one that read, "Ask your wife where she was," and confessed he deleted it rather than confront the truth, the courtroom collapsed into gasps. The lawyer's final question struck like a hammer. "So, Mr. Brown, your son reached out. He begged you to confront the person he feared most, and you chose to delete it. Why?" Silence. Kody Brown had no answer. Kody Brown had no answer. The moment Kody uttered the words, "because I was afraid of what I might hear," the courtroom went still. Christine froze in her chair. Behind her, Janelle's quiet sobs broke the silence, while Robyn sat hunched over, her clasped hands drained of color, bone white against the polished wood. The prosecutor's next question cut through the tension like a blade. "Mr. Brown, do you know the woman your son called Samantha?" Kody hesitated, too long. His silence spoke louder than any denial. At last, he whispered, "No." The judge's gaze sharpened. "You're under oath, Mr. Brown. Reconsider." Kody's mask cracked, His voice faltered. There was a friend. Someone Robyn knew from her church. She ran errands, helped with chores. A quiet woman. I didn't think she mattered. Her name? The attorney pressed. Kody swallowed hard, his voice barely audible. Samantha. The word hit like thunder. Christine shot to her feet, her fury unrestrained. You lied! You knew all along. I didn't. Kody cried, panic rising. I thought she was just a friend. Then why delete the email? Kody's voice broke into a roar. Because I was afraid. Afraid that if I read it, everything we built would fall apart. The silence that followed was suffocating. A father admitting he'd chosen his own comfort over his son's cries for help. Christine stepped forward, her voice trembling with righteous rage. You left him. You abandoned him with a woman you knew was dangerous, and you looked away. Kody couldn't answer. His tears finally came, and the courtroom watched the once proud patriarch shrink into a broken figure. The defense shouted for redirect, but no one was listening. The damage was done. Kody shuffled back to his seat like a man awaiting execution. Then an unexpected voice was called. Mary Brown, please take the stand. Mary looked stunned, but rose slowly. After swearing in, she sat stiffly, her hands knotted in her lap. The attorney's voice softened. Mary, did Garrison ever confide in you? She nodded, voice fragile. Yes, about a month before he died. He told me he was afraid. Said someone had something on him. He asked if I ever felt like the family was being watched. Did you? Mary's eyes flicked toward Robyn. Sometimes. Did you tell anyone? No, Mary whispered. Because no one believes me. They say I'm emotional, dramatic, bitter, but I knew something was wrong. The lawyer leaned closer. Do you believe Robyn was behind Garrison's fear? Mary's breath caught. The courtroom leaned forward, every soul waiting. Finally, she whispered, I don't know, but Robyn knows more than she's saying. Robyn exploded to her feet, her voice a shriek. This is a witch hunt. You're only blaming me because I was the last wife standing. Sit down, Judge Hill thundered. But Robyn kept screaming, her voice cracking with desperation. You think I wanted him gone? I begged Kody to help him. I pleaded with him to talk to Christine. Christine shot up, fury blazing. You cut him off. You and your church pal. You made him feel hunted, gaslit, broken. Robyn's screams echoed as the bailiff moved to restrain her. You left him. You all left him. Judge Hill's gavel slammed down like a gunshot. Enough. Tomorrow, Mrs. Brown, you will testify under oath. As the courtroom emptied, Christine glanced at her phone. A message blinked from an anonymous number. You're getting too close. Stop digging. The next morning, the courthouse steps swarmed with cameras. Robyn arrived under heavy security, her black coat and dark glasses barely hiding the tears streaking her face. Inside, the room buzzed with anticipation. When Robyn finally took the stand, her voice cracked before she even spoke the oath. The prosecutor leaned in. Mrs. Brown, do you know Samantha? Robyn's throat bobbed as she swallowed. Yes, the room erupted. Even Judge Hill shifted forward, her face etched with surprise. Who is she? Robyn's mascara streaked down her cheeks as she confessed. She was a friend from church. She helped me, childcare, errands, and through me. She knew Garrison. At first, he liked her. She listened. She understood him, but then she twisted it. I didn't realize until it was too late. The prosecutor's voice sharpened. So you admit she manipulated him? Robyn's voice cracked into a sob. Yes. Did you confront her? Yes, we fought. I begged her to leave him alone. She laughed in my face. Said I didn't control her. Said Garrison needed her more than he needed any of us. Gasps swept the courtroom. Christine sat motionless, jaw clenched, while Janelle clutched her hands until her knuckles bled white. The prosecutor's final question pierced through the chaos. Mrs. Brown, why didn't you report her? Robyn's shoulders shook as she whispered the truth. Because I was afraid of what she would say about me. The courtroom erupted in murmurs, the storm that had been building finally breaking open. And as Christine rose, her voice trembling with fury, she pointed directly at Robyn. You didn't just fail him. You delivered him. Didn't just fail him. You delivered him. Reporters shuffled uneasily in the gallery, cameras pointed but not daring to flash. At the front, Christine Brown sat at the plaintiff's table, her hands trembling only slightly as she pressed them against a thick file of evidence. Across from her, Robyn hunched low, her face pale, while Kody Brown sat rigid, arms folded, eyes darting like a man waiting for a storm he could no longer outrun. Judge Hill entered, her gavel striking once. The sound echoed like thunder. "This court will now hear Brown versus Brown," the clerk read. Estate of Robert Garrison Brown. Allegations of concealment, financial misconduct, and posthumous fraud. The words sucked the air from the room. Janelle leaned forward, tears brimming but her stare unflinching. Mary lowered her head, lips pressed tight as though she already knew what was coming. Christine rose slowly, the weight of grief and fury carried in every step. Her voice was steady, but it shook the gallery to its core. "Your Honor, I am not here only as a mother in mourning. I am here because my son was betrayed, manipulated, and left alone to carry burdens that were never his to bear. And the truth of who profited from his suffering is sitting in this room today." Gasps. All eyes swung to Robyn, who stiffened, her fingers tightening around the edge of the defense table. Kody's jaw locked. Christine slid the manila folder forward. The bailiff carried it to the bench. "Inside," she said, "are the records my son tried to keep hidden. Bank deposits, journal entries, photographs, evidence of a second account, funded monthly by someone close." Too close. Judge Hill flipped the first page, eyebrows knitting. Anonymous deposits. Nearly $10,000 at a time. Christine's voice cracked but did not falter. He wrote that he felt watched, that she was everywhere. And when he tried to break free, he was told to sign papers he didn't understand. He begged for help. He begged his father. All eyes turned to Kody. He shifted in his seat, the color draining from his face. A recording was played. Garrison's voice quiet, shaking. "She says if I disappear, it's better for everyone. She says I'll ruin everything if I talk." The gallery erupted. Robyn leapt to her feet, shouting, "That's a lie!" That was taken out of context. Her voice broke, her composure gone. Christine's fury ignited. "You swore you hadn't seen him in months, Robyn. Yet here," she held up a photograph. "Here you are, with him, days before his death." The photo hit the projector, Garrison leaning into a car window. Robyn in the driver's seat. The room gasped as though struck by lightning. Judge Hill's gavel slammed. "Order! There will be order in this court." Christine turned on Kody then, her voice low and sharp as a blade. "And you knew. You received an email. You were warned. Ask your wife where she was. And instead of saving your son, you deleted it." Kody's face twisted, caught between rage and shame. "I didn't know what to believe," he whispered. The attorney stepped forward. "So you admit, Mr. Brown, that your son reached out for help? And you chose silence?" The courtroom froze. Kody had no answer. And Christine, though trembling, stood taller than she ever had before. "This isn't just about my son," she said. "This is about every lie, every cover-up, every time the truth was buried beneath loyalty to the wrong person. Today that ends. Today that ends."